Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we have a great show for you guys today. We are going to be doing a futures pod. That is right. We're talking futures bet on bovadasportsbook.com, and we're going to be basically looking at, hey, who's going to be the bottom dweller in each division, who's going to be the top. We're going to go around with it. What I love about doing stuff like this is we're going to be off the cuff a little bit. We're just going to kind of talk about it. We'll do our best to explain it for the listeners where we're at and what we're looking at, but we don't have a plan on exact bets that we're going to talk about, and we're just gonna roll with it. I love doing pods like that where it's just genuinely natural and you know, there's nothing scripted really. So I'm excited for that. Before we get into that, we got to talk about this week in the NFL. Anything you want to talk about here? Want to bring it up right now?
Yeah, if there's a big shout out that I have to give, it is long overdue. It was the Monday Night Football game with the Tennessee Titans. And I'll be honest, I showed up as a Buffalo Bills fan. I had tickets to this game. I was repping the Josh Allen jersey, but it was a phenomenal performance from the Titans. Just getting to show that they can go toe-to-toe with the big dog in the AFC. For what it was, the Buffalo Bills were sitting atop most power rankings out there, and regardless of that, they're 1, 2, or 3. They are one of the guys that you have to get through in the AFC. The Titans, yes, they got that home turf advantage for sure, but they were able to show up and show out and get it done. It was awesome.
Look, shout out to the Titans as a whole. Team played really, really well. Shout out to the star of the Titans team in general. Derrick Henry now has 3 different games where he has scored 3 touchdowns in a game.
That's unheard of.
We've only played 6 games.
Yeah.
What the, unbelievable, unheard of, ridiculous. He is on pace right now. What did you tell me? On pace right now.
On pace right now to break it in week 15. To break the rushing record.
2,000-yard rushing record. And when he breaks the rushing record, which he almost certainly is going to do in 17 weeks, assuming health, knock on wood.
Yeah.
He will be the first running back ever in the history of the NFL to rush for multiple years, back-to-back years of 2,000 yards. That's right? Nobody else has done that?
No, nobody's ever done back-to-back.
Nobody has ever done back-to-back. And I will sit here and say, if he does that, if he leads his team to, what could theoretically be, a top 3 seed in the playoffs, if he leads his team to a deep playoff run, I don't care what Kyler Murray does. I don't care what any other quarterback in the NFL does. He deserves to be the MVP of football.
He does. I'm excited for the future when it comes to the Tennessee Titans because that's where we're from. For those of you who don't know, if you're new to listening to us, we live in Tennessee. We like to go to a lot of games. And, it's one of those things where, the stands were jumping. Everybody, Bills fans, I'll give it to you. You traveled damn well. You really did. But Tennessee, top to bottom, the environment was electric. It was interesting to after the game to just go on Facebook and you just see Tighten Up everywhere. Tina, you're one of our longtime listeners, and I thank you. We really appreciate it a lot. We had to give you a mention, and overall, just the Titan success a mention in saying just how good y'all are doing. I love seeing it. It's impressive. I'm impressed. I'm a fan. I'm a Vikings fan mainly, but Tennessee at heart. I want to see them go the distance.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun to watch. Still questions about that defense. Caleb Farley going down hurts them. But
still a lot of questions.
Hey,
sure.
you gotta be realistic here. But hey, we're riding the high of the moment. They just beat the Buffalo Bills. They have a chance to go beat the Chiefs and be in a really, really good spot to possibly get the number 1 seed if things went the right way. I mean, that would be ridiculous, but it could happen.
AFC's kind of top to bottom right now. It can change. It's very volatile,
yeah.
Especially when you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who would still be most people's primary favorite overall. They're sitting at 3-3. So, yeah, it's beatable. Very volatile. Yeah, very, very beatable, too. It just depends. Patrick Mahomes' playground ball works at times. There's also times where it blows up in his face.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's blown up in his face now in the regular season, so I bet he's going to have it fine-tuned and tweaked.
He'll figure it out.
Exactly.
He'll figure it out.
He'll be good to go when it's playoff time. Yeah. Not worried about him at all.
Yeah, I agree. I do want to also talk about another team in the AFC that is killing it. I would probably say maybe the front runner to win that number 1 spot if it really comes down to it. The Ravens,
yes.
And more specifically Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has a really good chance of repeating as an MVP winner of the league. And I think it's on the back of his arm this year. He is playing better than he did in his MVP season. And because he was electric in his MVP season, he was running over everybody. He was absolutely awesome to watch. But now he's really, really fine-tuned his throwing. And I think it's one of those things where you could see the power. You could see the arm. Like
Always had that,
He could
yes.
flick the ball
The
50
zip
yards
was
down the
there.
field. It was ridiculous, but he didn't really have the accuracy. Didn't feel like he had the change-up ball as far as like being able to control what type of ball to throw for every single situation. It's something that takes some time, and I think he has put a lot of work into it. Clearly it has, because it's showing up on the field. He's now a quarterback that is throwing for 400 yards in a game and winning games on his arm, and not just his ability to escape out of the pocket and be faster and more athletic than everybody. So just a big shout out to him as a player who has really grown, and to be an MVP winner that is now growing into another level of quarterback play. That's a great place to be.
Think about how damn good of a player he is in saying that. He's already won an MVP solely based on his legs and the whole, he's a running back mentality and whatnot.
Yeah.
So then there was this game script on how to beat the Ravens. It was get to Lamar, get some pressure on him, find somebody fast enough on the team. I know that's very hard to do, but find some way to contain him, or just hope that the game script falls where the Ravens are behind and they can't do the read option. They can't rely on Lamar's legs as much. But now if he is truly able to develop the deep ball like we're seeing and pick defenses apart like he has, I say develop the deep ball. He always could throw the deep ball, but it's a matter of dropping it like a dime in a bucket like he's doing right now. Mm-hmm. It is impressive, and if he can continue this level of play, the Ravens are going to be scary good going forward. That's with the most guys still on the injured reserve in the NFL, by the way. He is carrying this offense.
Carrying it. Yeah, that's a really great point, because this seemed like the year that the Ravens were going to kind of fall apart due to injury, and Lamar Jackson says,
and now look at him.
Let me put you on my back. Let's just carry you. That's what he's doing, and yeah, I absolutely agree. A lot of fun. Anywhere else you want to go before we get into the meat of the show?
No, not shout-outs overall. I think we hit the most impressive jumps. I would say.
Let's hop on Bovada here, and let's talk about some futures bet. Where do you want to? I mean, okay, we got to go the obvious one. Chance to win the Super Bowl as a team. I think this is always interesting, and I love the way it's broken up on here right now, where you can see the winner, conference winner, division winner, top teams here. I want to look at the Arizona Cardinals, a 6-0 team, the only undefeated team in the NFL right now. Excuse me, I do apologize. They are at only minus 120 to win their own division, and they are still at plus 1,100 to win the Super Bowl and plus 525 just to get to the Super Bowl and win the conference. Is that realistic? Is that right? Is that wrong? This is a 6-0 team playing lights out right now. Where are you at with this?
Yeah, I would say it's right. These sites know what's up.
Yeah.
They all do, top to bottom. And it's one of those things, we just got done doing our power ranking show, and that will come out a day after you're watching this video, hopefully. So please go check that out for us and see it. And we talked about there that, yes, the Cardinals are a very, very damn good team right now. If you were to list the way that everybody's playing right now, season ended, of course, the Cardinals are atop those power rankings. But overall, I think a lot of us still have that same kind of thought in the back of our head about, well, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. The Rams, even though the Cardinals had an impressive win over them, a demanding win too. It wasn't just like this was a coin flip. The Cardinals were controlling them from top to bottom and start to finish. But the Rams are still listed as the 4th overall team. The Cardinals are at 7th. I think we all know that there's some doubts that we have, that whether or not we'll voice them, whether or not we even have a true legitimate reason to back those. The Cardinals being at 7 shows that there's something there. Do you have a reason as to why, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, they're the Cardinals. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like, are we still in that mindset? Is that fair to say? Like, it's like, I'm just scared. Like, obviously, Kyler's awesome.
Yeah.
Kyler is super awesome. And assuming health, obviously, you always do that. Assuming health, yeah, this team could go to the Super Bowl and win it. They absolutely could. They're playing lights out.
I would be surprised though.
But they're first half. They're a first half of the season team. They're playing great. They're winning some games. They're beating good teams, and I don't want to take any of that away from them. But if they're playing the Bucs in the playoffs, do I think they're going to beat the Bucs? No, I think the Bucs should still be favored in that game. I think Tom Brady and that offense is better than Kyler Murray and the offense that he has. I would say, obviously, I definitely think that the defense on the other side of the ball significantly better. I'll go so far as to say a team in their own division that they've already beaten this year, the Rams. They're not better than the Rams, and on Bovada right here. The Rams are at plus 850 to win the Super Bowl. The Cardinals are at plus 1100. So the Rams have better odds. They're more favored.
And that is in spite of the Cardinals still being favored to win that division.
Yeah, They are favored to win the division. Rams are favored to win the Super Bowl. That tells you where we're at.
Tell me how that shakes up.
Yeah.
We know something's up.
Hey, I'll also go so far as to say at plus 140, it's not great odds, but I would take the Rams right now to win the division. I do think, I think the Cardinals are beatable. That defense is really good. That front seven is awesome, but I do think there's holes in that defense, whereas the Rams, man, I mean, yeah, you could say there's holes in it, but they're I think, are better top to bottom. And overall, I do think that offense in general, I think that team as a whole is better, and I think they're going to win more games by the end of the year, even though the Cardinals are obviously jumped out ahead early on in the first 6 weeks here. Let's move away from that. Look at some other bets. Where do you want to go with this, man?
Before we leave it, I just want to give a shout out to the Chiefs because it's weird giving them a shout out, but right now, I think if you're ever going to get your best time to get back on it before they get to going like they normally will, it's now.
Yeah.
Do it right now. They're at plus 750 to win the Super Bowl, plus 350 to win that conference, and they are actually listed as underdogs to win the division right now. And I think everyone in that division might be listed as a plus favorite, but you can get your money back for the Chiefs winning their division. Yeah. Stop. Get out of here.
Yeah, plus 110, by the way. Just
at plus 110, I think that just comes down to the Chargers right now.
Yeah.
Because the Raiders and John Gruden dilemma kind of spiraling down, and the Broncos, we know what they are, and we also have seen what they can do against teams that they should beat, and then we know that they won't beat the teams they're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. So let's bet on the Chiefs while you can. Maximize your money. Get your profit.
I agree. All right, hey, let's turn this around, all right? Because this is like the ultimate power rankings, right? This is the gambling power rankings almost, because it tells you the odds to win the Super Bowl. We do power rankings every week, so I think it's kind of fun to look at it in this light. Let's look at teams at plus 20,000 and lower, all right? So 20,000, I mean, basically saying it's not going to happen, right? These are
for sure.
Starting with the Bears, Washington, Falcons, Dolphins, Giants, Jets, Lions, Jaguars, Texans, right?
That's ugly.
These are the bottom dwellers of the NFL right now. What is the team that has the best chance of going far into the playoffs? You can take every aspect of that question into account, division that they're in, conference that they're in, however you want to look at it. All of these teams are obviously severe underdogs to win their division, win the conference, win the Super Bowl. Where are you at with these teams? Any of these teams that you think is legitimately good here?
Man, it's tough because I really do like the Chicago Bears roster.
Yeah.
I do. I like it top to bottom a lot, but I am so against. I'm just anti Matt Nagy. We have seen what Matt Nagy cannot do, and he just is never able to really piece it all together and get the team going as they should, firing on all cylinders. So I think it's too little, too late. I think I know what team you're going to say, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass this over to you just so you can take it.
Yeah, I think the only team that I look at that I think has a reasonable chance to actually get to the playoffs, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win. Again, I don't think they're going to get to the playoffs, but all of these teams, there's two that I would look at.
We're talking long shots as is.
Yeah. There's two that I would look at. One is Washington, and the other is the Dolphins. And yeah, I'm going to sit here and look at the Dolphins and say, yeah, I know it hasn't been good. They're 1-5. They're not a good team, but 3 of those losses came at a backup quarterback. I do think Tua obviously looked pretty okay against the Jaguars, so take that for what it is as well. But man, I look at this defense as still a good defense that if they can get healthy, they might be able to string some wins together. And they've been somewhat competitive in some games. Yeah, they got blown out by Tampa Bay. Yeah, they're not in that. They're in a different stratosphere.
Yeah, they're not
than Tampa
in that realm.
Bay. Yeah, exactly. So they're supposed to get blown out by Tampa Bay. But arguably they should have beaten the Jaguars, and arguably they were in a position to beat the Colts as well. So this could be a team that was 3-3 if the ball bounced a different way. So I look at them as a team that, like, again, outside chance type of team. But yeah, a team that am I biased for saying that? Obviously, I'm a Dolphins fan.
I mean, I would say there's some mild bias going into it, but we are looking at some of the bottom teams right here and trying to just say, where could you maximize your money if it was ever presentable in any of these options? And I would say with the AFC being, like we said, volatile, top to bottom, there is a world where the Dolphins can kind of sneak in here if they were to hit a 8-8, 9-7 perhaps. And I know there's another win added on top of that, so whatever the math may be on that, it'd be a 10-7 or it would be a 9-8 now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so weird to say, but there's a chance.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, 7 teams get in, so it's not completely impossible to turn around after having a really bad start after 6 weeks. All right, so we had a little bit of technical difficulties there. I do apologize. Not sure how that's going to sound on the editing process, but in our ears, we were hearing some weird stuff, so we did pause the podcast and get that fixed. Got it all fixed now. We are good. Sound good on your end?
Sounds good. Feels good.
Hopefully it sounds good on your end as well. And we'll get right back into it here. And let's look at odds to just make the playoffs, all right? I think that'll be interesting. Look at some middle-tier teams, and I'll let you run away with it here. Looking at Bovada, what are you thinking?
Man, I have to put the Indianapolis Colts as one of my favorite ones to do this. Just because of the way that they're able to play whenever it's clicking and it's all going right. They're a damn good football team. I say damn good, and I think that they are just out of that cusp of elite teams in the AFC, Titans being lumped up into that elite group. But I see no problem with the Colts being able to wrap up one of these wild card spots. They did it last year, and you know what they did last year? They gave the Bills a run for their money.
Yeah.
They really did. They went toe-to-toe with them, and who knows? I think Carson Wentz, he's able to bring a different fold than what Phillip Rivers can when it comes, especially later on in the year. We know what Phillip Rivers, he peaks around like a week 8, and then after that, he's on just the other side of the mountain because that arm strength starts to just deteriorate as the year goes on. Carson Wentz, who knows? Yes, I know what the Colts cannot do. They cannot win a Super Bowl. I do not see that. But when it comes down to making a playoff run overall, there's a chance.
Yeah,
they could upset somebody.
And the odds here, just so for those of y'all listening, yes is at plus 150, no is at minus 180. So the odds are in your favor. Like you're making money if you bet on them to make it. And listen, on top of that, you're getting 4 games that should be wins. You get to play the Jags twice. You got the Jets coming up on the roster, and the Texans again. Those should be 4 wins, all right?
Yeah, there's a world.
They're sitting here right now at where are they at right now? I'm trying to do the math.
They're 2 and 3.
Are they 2 and 3? Oh man, it does it that way.
Yeah, the Colts are 2 and 3.
Dumb. Okay, Colts are 2 and 3. So right there, I can give them. I can get them to 6 wins. You figure you need 9 to make the playoffs. Obviously, let's see here. You play the. I'm gonna go through it.
I think that they have a coin flip game this Sunday night against the 49ers.
49ers that are injured, playing a rookie quarterback who hasn't played awesome. So yeah, coin flip for certainly fair to say. You got a Titans team that they've always matched up well
split
against. Bucks, Bills seem like some tough wins. Those should probably be in the loss column. But then you have Patriots, Raiders, Cardinals. Obviously Cardinals they should probably lose to as well. But Patriots, Raiders could be a coin flip. And like you said, into the season if they go on a run, all those games are later on. That could be the deciding factor there. Obviously, that also gives you the opportunity for Carson Wentz to really grow in the system and kind of get his feet under him a little bit. It's been a rocky start, but it hasn't been so bad that it can't be fixed right now.
The biggest thing I would say for that is that they're in the AFC, and when you add in that extra game, and not to mention the extra playoff team that we're still having to adjust to, the 7 teams are making it.
Yeah.
There's going to be one team at the 7 spot, AFC and NFC, where you're looking at the record and it's like, wow, they got in?
Yeah.
It went that way last year.
It certainly did. Well, it didn't because the Dolphins missed out winning 10 games. So I won't say
no. They did at that, but there was some outside chances though that there was some low. I think it was the NFC actually. There was a.
We'll go through it. Maybe they're going to probably be fighting with the Patriots in the AFC East, right?
Yes.
You have. You figure there's 3 wild card spots, right? You're probably not winning the division, so we're just looking at wild card spots.
One of them's going to go to the AFC West, Chiefs or Chargers.
Chiefs or Chargers, and then you have I guess probably Browns or Steelers, right?
Okay, so the AFC North could really, really mess this entire situation
up. And get both of them in.
I would argue 3.
Yeah, Bengals are playing well. Yeah, so they have to fight off of them. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, there's no win. Yeah, that's why maybe the odds probably aren't in their favor. I don't know. They just have a lot of good games ahead. I like the bet. I do. I like. Why
don't you back up then and look at the Bengals? Scroll down here and find the Bengals for me because I do think that that's a team. They're sitting at 4-2 right now, but I think that they should be mathematically favored to make it though.
They're plus 190 to win. That's even better bet. Bengals at plus 190.
That is a way better bet.
That's a surprise. Let me look at their roster
because you're already getting spotted. You're already getting spotted. The 2 wins at 4-2. I was sitting here arguing on the Colts' behalf, and if the Colts were to play the Bengals right now, I would say it's a coin flip style game.
Yeah, I would certainly say I think the Bengals certainly would probably be favored, but kind of surprising that they have a less chance to win.
Bengals all the way looking at this. So
I still play the Jets.
Yeah, they play the Jets, they play the Raiders, they play the Broncos. I think I'll pencil those W's in, and I would like to think that they could split with some of these tough division opponents going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, they played the Packers hard. They beat the Steelers. They lost to the Bears, which, they played tough. They've already beaten the Vikings, so they already have some good wins under their belt, or at least, manageable wins. This game against the Ravens is really going to tell us where they're at, and obviously I understand why their ranking is where it is. But if you think the Bengals are real, if you think this offense is legit, if you think they can beat a Browns team in 3 weeks that might still be undermanned, we don't know how they're going to be looking injury-wise, but right now it's not looking good. If you think they can beat a Steelers team in 5 weeks,
I think they can beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think they can too. They've already done it. So, I mean, it's not impossible. It's not ridiculous to say they can do it again. Yeah, man, the 49ers, we don't know how they're going to look at the end of the year, so that's kind of too far away to say. But listen, there's a lot of games there that I can see them winning at 4-2. That's an interesting one to basically get 2-1, essentially a little bit less than 2-1. I like those odds there on Bovada here to win that bet.
Surprised that the Colts being 2-4 are better odds than the Bengals right there, though.
It's just those 4 wins.
It's got to be the 4 wins
Yeah.
versus Texans and Jags.
Yeah,
that speaks to it. It just makes up for itself.
For sure, it does. Gotta love the Texans there at plus 6,000.
Gracious.
Don't even know why you'd put that bet on there. Cleveland Browns at minus 230.
I would say that's one that I wouldn't want to touch.
So, I mean, obviously, in bets like these, you're really just looking for the obvious odds because, I mean, it's a long season. A lot of things can happen. At plus 180 to not make the playoffs, could injuries really destroy this team?
Injuries could.
It feels like they're already starting to.
Yeah, but they're starting to, but they're still a good team, and as long as they're able to get back on track, I still think they can take care of some of this.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. I would not bet.
If the Browns miss the playoffs, it is a huge disappointment on their overall season.
Yeah.
Considering last year they were, one game out from the championship game, weird fourth down play away from the championship game.
I wish we could have looked at the Broncos odds after 3 weeks. Because they're at plus 190 to make the playoffs.
That could have been where you could max, because you're sitting there like, man, the Broncos are 3-0, but they're not 3-0.
Yeah, they're not that good. Some bottom dweller teams. Yeah, absolutely. What are the odds of the Bears get a wild card spot at plus 500 to make the playoffs? Is that ridiculous?
Actually, I'm fairly certain they were the team last year that made it.
Based off
the
NFC.
NFC.
They made it 8-8. Yeah.
Exactly, and that was one of the ones where they shouldn't have made it.
And Patriots at plus 300 to make the playoffs. I don't hate that one as well. Another team that, hey,
I would take that.
They fought the Cowboys hard, right? I mean, this is a Bill Belichick team. Obviously, injuries have killed them after kind of trying to reload in free agency this past year. I'm not sitting here saying they will, but I don't think it should be 3-1 that they don't. That 3-1 that they do. So yeah, I like those bets. Let's move it on. You want to look at any other bets that you really like?
Yeah, I want to look at Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year. Let's look at that.
And I would like to just give a shout out to Trevon Diggs.
Trevon Diggs playing lights out, right?
He's playing lights out. It's the way that he's able to command this team and take care of business. But it's very, very unlikely that a cornerback usually gets this. And one of the main reasons is usually at the halfway point, when they are doing this statistically good, teams start to realize, hey, let's not target him, or let's give that man his respect and kind of leave him alone on his own respective place. That's why statistically they will fall off going into it. But right now, he's keeping it going.
He's playing awesome. I will say, I just look at Xavier Howard last year, who had a historic defensive year, especially with interceptions and all that. He didn't get it, so it just feels like, I don't think the interceptions and all that, it's just hard to win it as a corner. You have to be really, really special. I don't know if Diggs is at that point yet, but playing lights out, there's no doubt about it.
Take Aaron Donald.
Of course, Aaron Donald.
It's like the Chiefs being
at plus
third
650.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just take him.
Yeah, take it. I like TJ Watt as well. I wouldn't hate that. Love that Myles Garrett is number one. He was one of my He was one of the bets that I know we talked about beginning of the season as a defensive player of the year. So I know I like that one. Let's look at any other ones. My computer's messing up again.
You got to pick one on me now.
All right, let's look. Let me find something that I like. Team to go 0-17.
Comeback is Dak. That's already a wrap.
Will the Lions go 0-17? You could put 10. It's at plus 1,000, but $10 to win
100.
100. Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. I think they're gonna win a game, but they're not gonna be favored in another game this year. I'll tell you that for a fact. They fought and lost a bunch of games.
Last time they went 0-6 was 2008, and they were 0-17 then.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't see, I don't see them getting better as the year goes on. I'll put it that way. I think, injuries and things like that are going to mount up. They didn't get some wins when they, I think, put it all on the line to get some wins. So do I think they win here? I wouldn't bet. I don't think they will go on Centene, but at plus 1,000, you can put $10-20 on it if you have it.
They're almost halfway there.
Yeah, exactly. You're pretty close already.
And then at a certain point, we know these teams, especially a Dan Campbell-led team, will not be rolling over, but you have such a narrative in your face that it can kind of just be like a monkey on your back that's so hard to keep going. It could be one of those things that starts snowballing on them.
I'm kind of interested. Who is the rookie of the year favorite? Jamar Chase is sitting there at plus 250. It's going to be a quarterback, right? It's got to be a quarterback.
It's always a quarterback, but right now Jamar Chase is taking care of business.
Yeah, Mac Jones at plus 450. If you would have told me Mac Jones would be the favorite at the midpoint way of the season,
out of all the quarterbacks,
yeah. I don't think Najee Harris is doing enough to do it yet. I mean, fantasy wise, he's doing pretty okay, but I don't think statistically he's done enough.
I think Trevor, as he starts to really get in there and start just getting more comfortable and used to it. And then hopefully the stats are already there. I mean, he just got to kind of correct some of the stuff.
And the thing is, you look at past winners. Baker Mayfield wasn't doing a whole lot at this point in the season, right? He had
I don't even know if he was playing.
He didn't play, and then he got that win, I think, against the Jets maybe on Thursday night, and that was a huge monkey off their back. And that was a big win, and it was exciting. So you got like the style points there, and then it just kind of moved on. But he didn't play lights out. I thought it should have been Saquon that year. So I could look at it.
But that's saying that it always goes to a quarterback.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I'm looking for quarterbacks. I'm saying Trey Lance on a good 49ers team, they could turn it around, and he could. I don't expect that. Again, I don't really love that bet, but I could see him turning around. Justin Fields, I could see him turning around. Trevor Lawrence does feel like the obvious pick, though, right? At plus 700, that honestly feels like really good odds for the.
Click on the defense
for the odds-on favorite.
Defense. I just want to see who the favorite is so far. Is there an obvious one? Micah.
Micah's playing
it is
ball.
Micah.
Yeah.
It is Micah just because of the versatility. To think that you can go from that stand-up linebacker spot and be plugged in at end and still be as disruptive and dominant.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Jason Oweh playing really good for the Ravens. You got to give a shout out to that.
Let's talk about Jeremiah Owosu. We got straight up. Yeah, we did, but.
No, I'm saying he got hurt. He got like 4 or 6 week injury.
We got drilled for mentioning him so much on draft night, though. But guess what? He's good.
He's killing it. Yeah, he's playing really, really well. I'm looking for my guy. Where's my guy? I know he's going to be on here somewhere. Probably going to be at the bottom.
Talking about your Dolphins?
Yeah, my Dolphins guy. I got to look at it. I don't see it. All right, we'll move on. I'm not even going to worry about too much. Javon Holland's on there, but
there's your Dolphins guy,
top end guy. Caleb Farley is a bad
still
bet.
Up there. Come on.
Yeah, Jason Horn's still on there. You got some injured guys on here that probably shouldn't be in there. Jalen Phillips, okay, at plus 4,000. There he is. I don't hate. I mean, the thing is, he's getting close every time. He's just not finishing plays. So
I like Ojulari a lot.
I do like Ojulari a lot. I like those bets. The defense, the defensive class this past year was really good. Jason Oweh going 31 overall. That was a good player going at the back end of the draft. So I mean, shout out to
we recognize
this pack draft. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All right, let's find one more thing we want to talk about, and then we'll get out of here. Most regular season rushing touchdowns, and that's not even fair.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Honestly, to think that you could bet on it still and almost get half your money back, that is a win.
Yeah. Derrick Henry at minus
go put $100 on it just because you're going to get it back.
Yeah.
I guess you're just betting maybe injury.
Yeah, you need injury and somebody else to ball out. Like I could see myself betting Jonathan Taylor at plus 2,000, and I would never do this, just to be clear, because I don't bet on injury, but you're legitimately betting on Derrick Henry's going to get hurt and Jonathan Taylor's going to ball out the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way you do that.
Well, because if Derrick Henry goes down, then it's just a crapshoot between whatever guy steps up.
Exactly.
I mean, you have 2 Browns players on that list, and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Like what?
Both of them not playing this Thursday. Yeah. All right, one more. That didn't last long enough. I picked the wrong stat. Like, give me one. Give me one you want to look at.
Passing yards.
Passing yards. Where are we at? Or passing yards. Problem is, I don't know who's leading passing yards right now. Obviously, Tom Brady is at plus 250. I don't know where they're at statistically right now, so I got to pull that up, and I'll let you look at this.
Not seeing a Josh Allen up there off the top of my head is something that
That's weird because he's like his over under on prop bets every week is at like 297.
He's always at a 280.
So he's
290.
expected to throw for 300 a game, and he's not even in the top 10 on this list. He's at plus 1800. Kyler Murray's ahead of him.
Dak would be a good bet for me though, because Dak has games where he shows up and he throws the ball about 50 times.
Yeah, right.
And there's in the north of 350 yard range. He always shows up on those games.
I'm just gonna pull up passing yards real quick on the, where do I want to do passing yards, just to see where we're at in the week. So Tom Brady's leading. He's already passed 2,000 after 6 games. Derek Carr is at 1,900. Patrick Mahomes is at 1,800. Josh Allen at 9 is at 1,700. That's within striking distance, though. That's not like ridiculously
you can make
low.
that up. Yeah,
absolutely. Kyler Murray at 1,700 as well.
See, I would say Kyler would just play with the legs.
Yeah, he's got his and he's been throwing a lot more this year, but still, Kirk Cousins sneaky at 1,769.
Kirk Cousins playing sneaky good football.
Yeah,
too.
he is playing really well. He really is. Thank God there's no lights on though, so he's gonna keep playing.
No,
well.
that's what I'm saying. If people know that he's doing good, he's not gonna do good.
I like Matthew Stafford. What were the odds on Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford's at 18
third.
right now, and it's at plus 800. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting, man. I think Josh Allen is the best bet at plus 1,800. He's
Josh
not
Allen can make
so
that
far
up
out of
in
the
a
way.
3-week window. And there's plenty of time to do that.
Absolutely agree. All right, hey, I think that's it. Do you want to go anywhere else with that? I love doing these kind of things.
Good with it.
All right, guys. Hey, we're gonna close it out right there. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already on the YouTube channel. If you're listening on the pod, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Underdog Sports Podcast, whatever you want to call it, to hosting us. And we'll be back next week with another podcast and power ranking show. Peace.
7.